In this video, I want to explain to you how to recognize if a place is haunted. When you go to a Hollywood movie, or maybe a horror movie from India, from Bollywood, and it's a horror movie, you often have this scene when they enter an old building that's quite huge, and inside the building, suddenly they hear doors slap out of themselves or windows open while nobody's there. That's how they build tension in the movie to get you excited as a viewer. Now, if you have watched several of those movies, or maybe you haven't watched those movies, but if you think about haunting, that may be what you think about. Okay, that's a way a haunting manifests. Not always that's how it can manifest in evil spirits moving stuff around, physical objects, and you become frightened as a human being because you don't see who's moving them. But that's not the only way a haunting manifests, okay? A haunting of a building is when there is negative tension that lingers around. I've explained this often before. I even made some video series about it, so check it back on my old videos. But in this reminder, I want to remind you that a haunted place or a haunted building is a place where negative tension lingers around, and the negative tension comes from human beings who operate in negativity. Okay, let me give an example to you. You have this guy, together with his wife, they want to purchase a property because they want to start their own hair salon over there, or maybe they want to open a restaurant, whatever. They want to purchase a small property. So they arrive at the property, and the real estate officer tells them you can have it for 150,000 euros. The couple take a mortgage of 10 years to pay off the property. But then, when they enter the building, the wife feels unease in her body. She even had to throw up several times. So they want to start their own business, but after 3 years, there's still nothing there. And their money was running out. And then the cousin of the wife comes by to see how they were advancing in their new business. Because the cousin thought it's 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago that you purchased the property. So let me check how far you are. When the cousin approached the building, she felt terrified. And she realized that something was wrong. So when she entered the building, she felt the urge to leave immediately. So the cousin told the wife and also the husband that they need to forfeit that property. They could still cancel the mortgage because they had within 4 years you could cancel the mortgage if you wanted. And the cousin told them, Gemma, let's say the wife's name is Gemma, Gemma, you need to forfeit this property. People are going to get hurt in this building if you open a business over here. So the couple forfeit the building. They even get some of the mortgage money back. But then someone tells that cousin the history of that building. The building was constructed in the 1940s, and it was used as a panel school. So pupils that couldn't behave well were sent to that school. Okay, I don't want to say it's a boarding school, but okay, let's call it a boarding school. But the teachers over there, they sexually abused and physically mistreated those kids. They shot at the kids. Some of the kids even committed suicide over there. So it was a very intense negative climate. And this went on for 40 years. At the end of the 1980s, the boarding school closed. And they sold the property to some campus. But the university that purchased the property. In the mid-1990s, they forfeited the property because many accidents happened to their students. And while they had the property, there were many fights that happened over there. Much sexual violence also. So they forfeited the property. And the property has remained that way for more than 20 years. So when the couple came and purchased the property, they were not told of its history, about its history. All the negative tension hung around the building because physical structures contain human energy. They don't just contain physical energy like heat or cold, they also contain human energy. Okay? And if the energy that's been emitted in the building was overwhelmingly negative, that tension will hang around. And the tension in itself will cause a heaviness when you enter the building or come near the building. And of course, demons will love to hang around there because it's a negative climate. So if a place or building is haunted, ask yourself the following. Do you feel unease when you're close to that building? Secondly, do people often have skin issues when they're in that building? Do people often have digesting issues? Because digesting issues are a manifestation often, not always, but often they are a manifestation that the place is negatively charged. If a place is negatively charged, it will affect how your organs operate. So some of your organs may even malfunction due to a negative climate. And your digestive organs are the first to malfunction. So if you have digestive problems, you can see a physician, but check whether the building you're in is negatively charged or not. You can be in a building that's negatively charged and you have digestive problems, and then you go to a building where there is no negative tension at all and you have no digestive problems at all. Do you often feel lonely or sad in that building? Out of the blue. Ask this question. These are all signals that there's a negative tension in the environment. There was a time I went to this restaurant. Well, I went there often. One day I was there. I received a menu I purchased. I just bought a menu to eat over there. It was lunchtime. When I began eating it, this negative tension clanged onto me. I felt this suicidal urge coming over me out of the blue. And I was thinking, what? What is this? You know what I did? I kept on eating. I ate very quickly. Because I just spent my money. I'm not going to throw the food away. That would be wasting it. So I ate it very quickly. While I was eating very quickly, thoughts went through me like, oh, your life is not worth it. It's never going to get better. Oh, it's just a waste of time, all of it. So all these heaviness I was bombarded with it. And I was thinking, okay, I need to get out of here. So after I finished eating, which was within like 8 minutes, I left. And while walking outside, I was completely at ease. I was joyful again. I was smiling. So I knew from that day on, I would never go back to this restaurant. I won't do it. Because I just came to purchase some food and I got demons harassing me. And demons can only operate like that if there's a lot of negativity being emitted in the building. The other times I entered the restaurant, I never noticed it. But this time, I sensed it. Some people would think it's them. Some people would think, well, it's me. Maybe I have some psychological issue. Maybe it's me. Stop this me thing. Who told you it's you? Too often folks internalize things that have nothing to do with them. That's why I'm telling you, when you enter a building, pay attention to what your radar senses. And if you notice that the building is negatively charged, it can either be because at that moment someone is emitting negativity towards you, or it can be that the building itself It's just haunted. If you can leave a building, just leave it. Yes, you can pray and drive out the darkness, but let me tell you, haunted places, especially if the place has been haunted for years or maybe more, or even more than a decade, those evil spirits don't really want to leave. And you can't have a haunted place that's haunted for years and folks around don't know about it. They know about it. So there's a vested interest in keeping that place haunted. So when you come and drive out and you dissolve the negative tension, that means the demons will also disappear. What will happen is that those demons likely want to return, or that the locals around will turn on you. Because a haunted building or a haunted place serves a purpose. If you have a building or a place that's haunted, then folks can dump their negativity on that building. And they can be relieved. You can have an alcoholic husband. And despite his alcoholism, the marriage doesn't collapse. The wife is very happy. Why? Because the negative tension is dumped on that haunted place. Let's say now you come and you drive out the thick dark clouds from that building. If you manage to do that, it may take a few days. That husband now, that alcoholic husband that lives nearby, cannot dump his waste anymore in that building. So now there will be dysfunction in the marriage. Now he may face divorce. Now there may be domestic violence. So haunted places are not always, but they can also be an escape mechanism for the locals. Now, what to do if you have to be in a building that's haunted? You send peace ahead of you. You operate in Christ's peace, send that peace ahead of you. Undertake repercussions spiritually against all wickedness that will come against you. And go in faith, go in trust when you have to be in that building. And if it's a building that's in use, like a government office or a school, then realize that driving out the darkness may not be effective in the long run, because the darkness will return because the people using the building may be in the negative. Some buildings are designed to keep dark energy. They often use certain mathematical shapes. They call it sacred geometry. Buildings where they use sacred geometry are buildings intended to retain and keep negative energy from human beings, so the negative energy won't float around freely in the community and folks have to deal with the harm of it. So understand this, some places are haunted on purpose because the community designed it to be a haunted place. It can be that you have a neighborhood and there's this house that nobody buys or nobody wants to rent that place. And you are desperately looking for a place to rent, and you get that place for a cheap price. And the people see you moving in, they won't tell you it's a haunted house, because they all benefit from that place being haunted. So the neighbors may smile to you, be very kind to you. And after a while, they know you'll get out, or you'll get some accident, or someone will die. They know about it, but they won't open their mouth, because they all have a vested interest in keeping that place haunted. As far as they are concerned, it's all your fault, even though they are the community that have a vested interest in keeping the place haunted. Because if they face that the place is haunted, then they need to do something about it. But if they do something about it, then they don't have any place to dump negativity anymore. You see what I'm saying here? So recognize when a place is haunted. It's not always you. So this self-centered me attitude, always looking for the fault in yourself or thinking it's you, stop it, unlearn it. Look at the bigger picture. Agree with Christ and be at peace.